Hi, and welcome to Messages from an Angel. Today we have an amazing show. Have you ever wanted to be an astrologer? Have you ever been interested in what's going on in the stars? Today's show is going to give you the courage and the confidence to go and look up all of those different things that are planet oriented. Actually, it's a really fun thing to do. And we have someone who's going to talk to us about what it's like to be a hobbyist astrologer. We have expert astrologist Maria, and she's going to be with us today. And we're going to have a really great time. We're going to talk about the Mercury retrograde. We're going to talk about the lunar eclipse that's coming up. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff and how it's going to affect us this month. So along with your monthly astrology, we're going to talk to you about what it's like to be an astrologer right here on Messages from an Angel.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West. Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi, everyone, and we're back on Messages from an Angel. Okay, so this is our guest, Maria. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Thank
You're
you for giving me this opportunity. It's great. Yeah.
This is going to be awesome. So, Maria, you're, I guess, what we call a hobby astrologer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're somebody who loves to do this, who's passionate, extremely gifted, by the way, because she's, as far as I'm concerned, my astrologer.
Mm-hmm.
She'll like text me and she'll be like, okay, you know what's happening today? You can't do this because this is happening. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you, Maria. So Maria is exceptionally gifted, but you have chosen to work with family and friends and do that kind of thing. Why? Why would you prefer to? Well, before we even start that, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us why you love astrology and how you got into it.
Okay, so astrology is my passion, and I've actually been interested in astrology since I was a toddler. Believe it or not.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I fell in love with the moon and the stars. I know it kind of sounds funny, but
No.
as a toddler, my mother, we would put me in the stroller, and then at night, you know, when it gets dusk or it gets dark outside, And, you know, you start to see the stars twinkling, and then you see the moon, the bright moon out there. And I would always point, and my mom would tell me, oh, that's the moon, and those are the stars. So I found it very fascinating. As I got older, in the cars, I would look out the window, right? I wouldn't be listening to the music or anything else going on. I would look out the window. And that's when I started noticing patterns, like the constellations. And I noticed what we know now is like, well, what we see as a pattern is the Big Dipper.
Right.
So interested in all that, I'm like, how come there's a pattern like that? And so, you know, back then, as I got, you know, in school, I'd go to the public school library, and I would start searching it up.
I remember doing that too.
Yeah, we didn't have Google back then.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how, and then I just got myself into the books, and I basically did my own research. I got myself into it. And from there, that was it. It's my passion. I love it. And I know, and it was funny because there were things that I knew that I didn't know why I knew about it.
Yeah, so this is a very instinctual thing. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They think that it is a lot of book work and it's very academic. But what I think a lot of people, and that's a very good point, it really comes from us as well.
Yeah.
So do you believe that anyone can work with astrology, at least on a basic level?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Why would they? What would be the point?
Well, actually, the way that I see astrology and how I understand it and I get it is astrology is not a belief system or a predictive thing. It's actually a tool. And what it is, it's like there's three, I call it like under an umbrella, right, of a tool, there's like three things. There's three levels. There's an application. So application meaning you apply it to your life. You take astrology, you take what's going on and you apply it to your life. Yeah. Then there's the preparation aspect as well, which is the guiding and the supporting. So your it's like if you look into astrology, you know, like especially like if Mercury retrograde, right? You can prepare yourself for stuff like that because there's certain things that you can't do during that time.
Absolutely. And that's a really interesting thing that you say, because as soon as you let me know, hey, you know what, a Mercury retrograde is coming or a lunar eclipse is coming or what have you, I will always sit back and go, okay, well, what's been happening in my life and what do I need to do to prepare in my family? And whether that's, you know what, I need to be a little bit more compassionate, or I need to listen a little better, or I maybe just need to, you know, take some downtime. You know,
yeah,
I need
definitely.
To just stay
and
away
there's
from
times
everything.
that you do have to do that. Yeah. You do have to take downtime. You do have to take a step back. It's not always go, go, go. Yeah. And that's why the planets do what's called a retrograde. They go back. And that in a retrograde is the planet goes back into itself. It's like a reflective thing. So that's what we need to do a lot of times as well.
In that time. Yeah, and that's an interesting thing that you bring up as well. And I'm glad you did, because a lot of people look at retrogrades as a very scary thing. They look at it as a time of, oh my God, Mercury's coming, oh my God, what are we going to do? But the reality is that it's very beneficial because we do it allows us that time to be introspective, and we can utilize that to our benefit, yes?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, but we have to be aware of it, because a lot of people, and that's a thing too, right? People get really, really afraid of looking at themselves inside. So what they do is they will say, oh my God, something's coming up for me. And rather than taking a look at it, they bury it. Yeah. And if they bury it, then we're in trouble.
Yeah. And you will feel it. You will feel it. Yeah. You will actually start seeing things happening because the universe, right, the cosmos, will start sending out the signs, right? For instance, Mercury retrograde, right? Your car starts to act a little funny. Your phone starts not doing what it needs to do.
Yeah, so Mercury affects these things, like what, electronic technology and communication, and what else?
Okay, so it affects communication, computers, phones, any form of communication. So electrically, verbally, written.
And you shouldn't really start things in a Mercury retrograde either.
No, it's not a time to initiate anything. It's a time, actually Mercury retrograde is a time for redos, rethinking. So anything that's got the word re in front of it.
Reinventing ourselves,
Yeah.
or birthing ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good point. Actually, that's pretty amazing. This is one of the reasons I love these shows. Is as much as I know about this kind of stuff, I have a really I think I'm fairly knowledgeable, but it never ceases to amaze me that when I have guests on, how much I end up learning.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that.
And that is the great part of astrology, and very interesting, is that there's always so much information. I know that when we talk sometimes, right, you know, having a very busy life yourself, right, I'm like, okay, I wasn't done, hold on, but I gotta go. And it's like, because there's so much, it's very, you know, it's detailed, there's a lot of information. So yeah, it's good to have. And then the other thing I wanted to say, on top of the application, so applying it, the preparation, so you use it as preparing yourself, so you're guiding yourself, you're supporting yourself through something, or the energies, and then timing. Timing is very important. So it could be, you know, timing of what's going to happen astrologically, and then also timing, like getting yourself into a timing situation so that you are aware. So timing and awareness.
Well, timing is the all too, right?
Yeah.
Like the reality is nothing is going to happen for you unless it's the right time. So rather than being frustrated, take that time for yourself to prepare yourself for what's to come. And I kind of like that about Mercury retrogrades too. I mean, this may be. Now, that's another question, actually. It's just come to my head. Does each person have a pattern? Because for me, every time there's a Mercury retrograde, and I mean every time, and this is across the board, I find that my clientele base will go down a bit. I find I have more time for myself. I find that I'm more emotional. And I know that each retrograde brings up something different. Like one retrograde will be more about health and focused on health. And then another one will be focused on relationships. And one will be focused on self and what have you. But by rote, each retrograde always, I can tell when they're coming, even if I don't know, because I feel a certain way, or certain things will happen in my life. They go, oh, is that a retrograde that's coming, because this is happening again. So does that happen, like, say, to me, or does that happen to everyone?
Okay, good. I'm glad you brought that up, because now we're going to bring in the zodiac signs. You're Gemini.
Yes.
Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo.
Right.
So when Mercury goes retrograde, it is going to affect the Geminis and Virgos a lot more, more intensely.
Yeah.
Yes, and it will affect the other signs as well. And the one thing I wanted to point out as well is when these planets go retrograde, there is it's called a degree. And these degrees are a mathematical equation, right? And for instance, one Mercury retrograde, you could be fine. But then all of a sudden you will know someone else, and they're just having this major miscommunication and misunderstandings in talking, or they're getting documents sent back to them, or they've lost documents or stuff like that.
Now, does that happen because some people are already moving through that particular energy and other people have to deal with that energy?
Well, no, yes, it could be that, but it's also the degree. That's what I was trying to say.
What's
is that
the
degree? The degree is, okay, at the time of your birth, right? The planets and the houses are situated in a way that is you. It's a makeup of you. And so as we go on in our lives, right, and these planets either move forward, do retrogrades, they're squaring, like there's all these things going on. If it's happening in that degree and it's in the same part of your chart, that area of your life where the planet is situated in that sign, and then especially in the house, it is going to affect you.
Right.
So that's why I was saying that it might not bother you, but it'll bother 3 of your friends.
Right.
Because it's aspecting, meaning it's touching their part of their chart.
Perfect. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about how you can become an astrologer and what that means and how you can start getting into it. You know, maybe you're a hobbyist right now, maybe you're thinking about it. So when we come back, we're going to speak a little bit more to Maria, and she is going to give us some of her tips. Stay tuned. Messages from an angel.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi, everybody, and we're back with messages from an angel. I don't know about you, but with me, with astrology, I find it a little overwhelming at times because it's so intricate. We were talking about degrees, aspects, houses, zodiac, all of these different things. Now, if I was somebody who is starting to get into this, or somebody who wants to know more about it, but doesn't want to get into the real details, just really wants the basics to start there, how would they do that? Like, would I go to the internet? How would you recommend I start to work with astrology?
Well, right now, the internet is the best way to look up things. You can search, the dates of the Mercury retrograde, again, to prepare yourself so that you know. You can contact an astrologer. There's astrologers on the internet. You got to be careful, though. That I wanted to make sure I pointed that out, that when you go on the internet, you got to be careful on who you are choosing to contact to do a birth chart, to give you that information, because not everybody is legit. And of course, it's a service, so you're going to have to pay. So you want to find out.
Yeah, I think one of the best ways to do that for those of you out there is go to your local curiosity shop or new age shop if you don't know anybody. But what's nice about today's day and age is the fact that everybody knows somebody who's into energy work.
Sure.
Because energy work is definitely something that's more acceptable now. So if you know somebody, they may know somebody, right? Yeah. They may have an astrologer of their own, or they may know a psychic, and that psychic is somebody who's reputable so that they can maybe put them on to somebody. But again, the fastest, easy ways to do it is look up your local curiosity shop, look up your local new age shop, even look up your local holistic or nutritional store. Those places usually would be able to put you on to somewhere energetic if you know somebody who does Reiki or what have you. So these are little ways that you can find legitimate people to work with.
Yeah, exactly. And it also is great because it's someone local.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
On the internet, sure, you can find someone local. Yeah. But most of the time, you might end up getting somebody who's in the States. Or is it from another country?
Yeah. And again, you know what? If people out there do want to find somebody, I have connections myself. So you can always go to raisingenergy.com. You can email me and you can let me know. And you can just go, listen, you know what? I'm really looking for an astrologer. Do you have anybody I can recommend or that you can recommend? Any of these things. That's partly why we do the show. Partly why I'm here is to let people know that I'm one of those people that you can reach out to. That's okay. I have no issues with that. So my reality is that when you are starting out, people like Maria, people like myself, we're here. We're here to lend a hand because when we were younger, we didn't have that.
No.
We did not have that.
No, it was like, it was always done by ourselves, going out and doing it
Yeah.
ourselves and looking into it and finding out the books and so
And if
on.
we were lucky enough, we would be able to find people who could help us
Oh,
out.
and that's the other thing. I had nobody to talk to about it. That
Oh
was
my
the
God,
problem.
yeah.
You just, there wasn't anybody to talk to. I mean, I couldn't just go up to my friends and go, yeah, so what sign are you? What time were you born?
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Right?
No,
But
I
yeah, it made it harder back then. Now it's much easier, and I'm glad you pointed that out. That there are places that you can go and talk to people. And they're not going to look at you strange.
Yeah, and you can even, I know that that's kind of reaching too, but there are places on the internet where you can find meetups of people of like kind. And it's a lot easier now than it ever has been.
Yeah.
But like you said, finding those legitimate people, you just have to keep your ear out. And, we'll probably do a show on how do you find those legitimate people too. I would like to do that as well. So getting back to the whole idea and the concept of learning how to work with astrology, what would be the first step? Would you say to people, learn about zodiacs? Would you say to people, learn about the constellations? What would you say would be the first step towards learning how to work with astrology?
The first step would be to find out your information and work and look at your stuff.
Yes.
Because then that way it's like an interest. Oh, I want to see, like, where was my moon when I was, born? Where was this? So I think that putting the interest in looking at yourself, like your birth chart, and then again using the tools, correspondences, the internet to find out what each thing means. Then you become comfortable. Then you are able to understand. Okay, so what does that mean that planet is in that sign? And then the other way too is. And then, start learning about the 12 zodiacs. All the zodiacs have their own traits.
Yeah.
The planets rule something and a sign. The houses have their own individual placements and information of each house sign.
And I like that. I like that you said start with you, because once you know, the more, and I always preach that, the more you understand you, then you have an anchor so that you can, and a baseline so you can help others as well. Right,
Exactly.
So that makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody, let's say a child who is interested in this, so I guess based on your own experiences, moon gazing, right? Going to places where they used to have, I still love this, I can't remember where it was, I can't remember, but they used to have a huge telescope that you could go to, and you can actually, our school used to do that, the science center and places like that.
Yeah,
and
I remember the science center.
Yeah, and you could do like an overnight.
And planetariums.
That's it, the planetarium. Do they still have the planetarium in Toronto?
I have no idea.
I
have no idea. All I remember is science.
Yeah.
The Science Center.
Yeah, see, now this show is global because we're digital. So wherever you guys are in the world, go out and find your nearest planetarium or somewhere where they work with astrology. Take your kids. Even if you don't think they have an interest in it, you wouldn't know. Because my reality is when I was a little girl, I used to do the same thing. I used to go to the library and I used to get the books on astronomy. And at one point I even thought, I'm going to be an astronaut, a little girl astronaut, not realizing how that actually became a tool for me later on in understanding who I am and what I am.
Yeah.
Right? So just going, and even if you go on a hike, you're going on a hike or you're going biking, take that time, or when you're going camping, take that time with your kids to lie down and just look at the stars and moon gaze, and take a book with you, right? You can buy books on this kind of stuff, and let's see where we can find these constellations. Start with something really primary, because when you do that with your children, you might spark that own interest in yourself. Yeah. And that's really what it's about. It's about finding your passion, feeling what's right for you. And that's just going to open up a whole expansive world. Yeah. And astrology is an amazing thing. And it goes even so far as to talk about relationships, correct? I know someone who, whenever he had a girlfriend, he would go and he would find out their chart and the compatibility and that kind of stuff. But what I liked about this, and at first it was kind of jarring to me when I heard that. I'm like, so what are you trying to do? See if you're breaking up or something? And it was really interesting the way he said it, because he was really smart. He's like, no, I want to know where the clashes are. I want to know where the disconnects are so that we can work on that in the relationship. So I have a heads up and go, you know what, how can we strengthen that aspect? And over time, I kind of went, okay, that's a really good idea. See, astrology used to scare me. It used to scare me because I'm like, okay, you're telling me my future in my chart and it's set in stone. And then somebody made me actually it was she made me realize this. It isn't set in stone. No. It's a guideline, because the reality is we have individual experiences too that will also color that chart and color our astrological experiences for that particular month.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because the natal chart is your blueprint.
Yeah, it's a blueprint. That's it.
And so that's great. It's a blueprint.
Yeah.
But again, life happens, right? It moves forward.
Yeah.
And in each of our experiences, we actually grow.
Yeah.
And from that growing, we're going to have issues, like we're going to have difficult times, we're going to have positive times, but just like anything else, there's a positive and a negative. And people, so it's okay. And just people don't need to freak out or stress out. Yes, at the time we're human, and at the time that we're going through things, we are going to do that.
But it'll also change what aspects are affected in which Mercury retrograde or whatever thing. So if I had a certain experience, maybe this aspect would jump out at me at a certain time. If I had a certain experience, maybe it would be a different aspect and I'd move through that easily. So those things change as well. So we have to take into account, which a lot of people don't, and I was one of them. We don't take into account that our life experiences actually color how we move through all of these phases that happen in our year.
And that's why we have new moons, full moons, and eclipses. And eclipses are very powerful.
Yes.
They're karmic in nature. A lot of people don't even know that. And so when I do mention it to family and friends, that, eclipse time, and if they're telling me what's going on in their life, and of course, because they're friends and family, I already know, like, in the past what's been going on. And I'll say, helps. And then I'll say to them, well, do you remember? And then all of a sudden they're like, wow.
You did that. She did that to me, actually. Yeah. When we come back, we're going to talk now a little bit about what's going to happen in our month, in this month. It's a very unique month because we have the retrograde happening. We're up for another lunar eclipse. And Maria's going to tell us more about that when we get back with messages from an angel.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity in our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi, we're back with messages from an angel. I have so many television shows and things. I'm like, which show am I on? What am I doing?
You were going to say Maria.
I was going to say Maria. I was going to say, we're here with Maria on Raising Energy. No, we're not. This is Thursday. So on this, and oh yeah, that's the other thing too. If you do want to know more about this particular show, go to mytcntv.com and you'll hear about us and you'll hear about our other amazing shows that we have. If you want to learn more about me and this show and the other shows I do, you can go to raisingenergy.com. You can actually follow me on YouTube at Raising Energy. You can follow me there, Twitter at Raising Energy. That is my company name. So you can also look up Angel Morgan, psychic, and that will bring everything up as well. So now we're here with Maria. We've been having a fantastic conversation about what astrology is, how you can get into it. We've touched a little bit on the Mercury retrograde, on eclipses. So now this month, we do have some things coming on. We had Alex on last month and we talked about the solar eclipse that we had experienced. Now we have experienced a lunar eclipse that passed in July. And now we're in a Mercury retrograde, expecting another lunar eclipse on the 11th.
Solar eclipse.
Oh, is it a solar eclipse?
It's a solar eclipse.
My bad. That's why you're the astrologer.
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about what's happening right now and what to expect, like what's going on.
Okay.
What's going on with
So for the month of August, we are actually, we're starting a new month, but we're also carrying over that intense lunar eclipse that we had. Yeah. So that energy is coming into this month. And just a really quick little tip. Side note tip is that eclipses just don't happen and that's it, it's done. Yeah. Eclipses have effects and they linger, like they go on, right? Yeah. And so an eclipse has an effect a month to the day prior, then they have an effect a month to the day after, and they have and then it goes into the 3 months, 6 months, sometimes 9 months, and it also does go to a year. Yeah, right? Again, it just all depends. And again, it all has to do with your unique natal chart. Yeah. So anyways, so that said, we're bringing in that energy from that tension into this month. So the first half of the month is, it is intense. There's going to be delays. It will be stressful. And then the other half of the month is actually going to be a little bit more of relief. And I think a lot of people are going to start liking that. And we also have a full moon in Pisces on August the 26th.
And now when do we come out of this retrograde? When does it go direct? I believe it's called direct.
Yes,
right?
Mercury's going to go direct. I have it here. It's August the 19th, I believe. Okay,
the 19th.
Yeah, it is. Mercury goes direct August the 19th. And then we also have Mars. That is also retrograde.
Now Mars is what I know of Mars is war.
Right. It's the planet.
Notice the fear rising in me when I say that.
Yeah. Well, it is the planet of war. It's the planet that rules the army. Mm-hmm, so that's where the association of war comes in. But Mars actually is the planet that gives us our power, our energy. Oh. So it's like an individual thing. Okay. So when Mars goes retrograde, which it is right now.
Wait a second. So we have Mercury and Mars in retrograde? Does that often happen when you have two planets in retrograde, or is it usually just one or another?
No, it could. Yeah, there could be two planets. Actually, we have 6 planets that are retrograde right now.
Is that a lot?
Yeah.
What that explains so much. Anisha's laughing in the back. Yeah, that explains it. We're all going, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So when I see someone's natal chart and there's like 5 planets retrograde or there's 6 planets retrograde, and it is possible, I'm like, with a smile on my face, because like you said, people get scared, or once you start. Of course, if I'm going to look at someone's natal chart, I'll go, oh my God, right? That person's going to fall right off their chair.
Oh, for sure. So no, all you do is look at them and go, it's okay, honey, you're just PMSing. It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
Just a long PMS. That's
yeah, exactly. So again, so Mars is retrograde right now, and I'm sure a lot of people have noticed they're tired. Mm-hmm. Because there's no energy, right? They're tired. And also when Mars is retrograde, it's not the time to have surgeries and stuff like that, because it rules the operation room.
Really? Yeah. And I remember you talking about that, because I just had a family member who was going to go through surgery, but it was before it was retrograding. and I got this beautifully long text going, okay, I know it's supposed to be the month, I don't know when it is, be careful because of this and that and the other. And I take that at value because I value what you have to say.
Yeah.
And it is important, I think, because you want things to go well. And you're saying that the energy does come in before that time, but it isn't going to affect as strongly as it would within that time. Correct? Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Like, for instance, Mercury retrograde, before it goes retrograde, it has an influence of 2 weeks prior.
Right.
Then it goes direct. Then it has its, then it goes retrograde. It has its retrograde phase, and then it takes about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So each planet has its own time of building up its power. So to be able to move forward and be at full strength and to ready to go.
Now, when does
and Mercury happens actually faster than a lot of the other planets.
Okay. So now, when does Mars go direct?
Mars is going to go direct. I believe it's the day after, before August the 26th. So it's going to happen this month.
Okay.
So that's why I was saying that this half of the month is going to be actually really good, because Mercury is going to go direct. Mars is going to go direct.
So now, how long does Mercury usually, how many times, sorry, my question is, how many times a year does Mercury go direct? Is it 2 or 3 times, or it depends
It's about
on the
2
year?
or 3, and it depends on the year,
Yeah.
But for sure, 2 to 3 years. Right? The other planets will take, 2 years.
Okay.
Like Mars will take 2 years to go retrograde.
What do you mean, it'll stay in retrograde for 2 years?
Oh no, sorry. It'll take 2 years for it to go retrograde again.
Oh, okay. So
I
it only
believe
happens
so.
like every couple of years.
Yeah,
kind
I
of thing,
believe
with
so.
what- So Mercury is the
I've
only
got all
one
these
that's
numbers
fairly-
going
I
running in my head right now, 'cause
and
I've got
that's
the
it, right?
dates.
But that's what can feel overwhelming sometimes, is the fact that there is so much information.
Yeah, there
so
is.
For those of you out there who are interested, don't let that overwhelm you.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. You're not going to remember everything, which is why we have books.
Yeah.
Which is why we have internet. I mean, we have these things as references, so go to them. You don't have to. It doesn't all have to be.
Well, I'm
in your
glad you
head,
brought that
right?
up, because a lot of people, and when I do talk to them, they say to me, how is it possible that you know what each sign is,
Yeah.
their characters, their traits, what's in the houses, what the planets are doing, what the planets rule? How do you know all that? And I said, well, years.
Yes, sometimes it's
years.
just
It's
experience,
practice, and
yes.
it's just years, and it's the interest,
Yes.
right? Having that
You're
interest,
passionate about
the passion,
something,
right?
you create a little catalog in your head.
Yeah.
But even then, no matter how much you try to remember, it's not all gonna, like, you have reference books. I have one astrologer who's coming on, and she's got binders, like binders
Oh,
of
yeah.
stuff that she works with.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
Right?
information, a lot of
Yeah,
information.
so don't be afraid to go and print things out and write things up so that you remember and that kind of stuff.
And that's
right?
why I put some of the dates down on this paper.
Absolutely.
And kind of just put down what it was, because again, I mean, I know this.
Yeah.
But we're talking about different things, and because I'm on a show to give that information,
That's right. You want it to be accurate.
Exactly. Of course, I don't have a piece of paper in front of me. Like if you were to call me and say, oh, this and this is going on, or we're talking, and then you'll tell me something's going on, and then all of a sudden, and you know this, and you can validate it too.
Yeah.
I start going, okay, on this day and on that day, and da 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 da, and I
And
start doing
sometimes we'll
that.
be talking, she'll go, hang on a second, I'm just gonna get on the internet. Let me check that on my phone. And we'll do that, but we're together, right? We're
Yeah.
not, on a show with a time constraint and that kind of thing. So the other thing, now getting back to the Mercury retrograde. So
Yes.
the Mercury retrograde is the one that consistently happens every year. The other planets may take every 2 years or every 3 years.
Each planet
or
is
that-
different, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool to know. So what can we expect with this solar eclipse that's coming this month? When does that hit us, and what can we expect with that?
So the solar eclipse is on August 11th. It's basically sort of in the middle of the month. It's like at the beginning, but kind of going into the middle of the month. And it's happening in the sign of Leo.
Okay.
Leo rules the self, and it also rules the heart. So Leo is about the self, and it rules the heart.
Okay.
And solar eclipses are opportunities. They're new opportunities. And it's funny, and I'm glad that that we're having this discussion about this, because I like to also give examples.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because this solar eclipse has given me an opportunity, even though it's not happening yet. Remember, there is
Energy that
the
follows
energy
energy.
that starts before, right?
Yeah.
It's like a buildup. So it's given me it's given me this opportunity through you, right? And we taught, and also it's also conjuncting Mercury retrograde. So you came to me months ago and said, hey, I'm starting this show, I want you on. And I think it was either March or April you said it to me. I can't remember. But the point is that it comes back. So Mercury retrograde also brings things from back.
From the past,
From
yes.
the past as well. So then here
so
we
Mars
are.
brings the new opportunity. Sorry, the solar eclipse brings the new opportunity.
Yeah.
Mercury brings about the past stuff. So you've got the old stuff, the new
Yeah.
stuff. It all works
And so
together.
see, and that's why I wanted to use it as an example so that, you know, the viewers can also understand that it's not just, you know, words,
But
right?
it also brings stuff up. I find this really, really interesting because Mars says, okay, here's your new opportunity.
Yeah.
Mercury says, I'm going to start it back here. Here's your new opportunity. You have a few months to deal with the stuff you need to deal with to get there.
Sorry, it wasn't Mars. The solar.
I'm sorry, the solar eclipse, my
eclipse
bad, my
or
bad.
a new moon.
Right.
Because that's what a solar eclipse is. It's a new moon, but jacked up. It's like
It's
more
jacked-
powerful.
I like
It's
jacked
true.
up moon. We've
Yeah.
got a jacked up moon.
Yeah.
And it's true. And for those of you who don't know what a new moon is, there are 3 phases of the moon, which is the new moon, the full moon, and the waning moon, right? And the waning moon is when the moon is kind of getting smaller and darker and that kind of thing. And then the new moon is when it looks black in the sky. And then the full moon, it comes back, or the waxing moon up to the full moon, it looks like it's growing, right? When you get the crescent moon and the half moon and all that kind of jazz. So when we have this solar eclipse, that's the new opportunity.
Right.
And Mercury has already been helping you work through all your stuff to get to that new opportunity. Because that's something we were talking about,
Yeah.
right? We're talking about, dealing with, like, particularly, I hope you don't mind, this show and the nerves that come with it when we come on a show for a first time and that kind of stuff. So you got all that time to work on that stuff, and now we're here. Right? And we're here and we're moving through it and you're doing a beautiful job. It's absolutely stunning. And
you.
so this is what this is how it works for everybody. So you
Yeah.
might be, had a job offer a few months ago and you've been working through, should I take it? Shouldn't I take it? What should I do? How should I do it? And now you have to make that decision.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's jobs with Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
You don't start a new job at all. You can go back to an old boss
Yeah.
or to an old job. You can do that. You can't start new jobs.
Right.
So basically, the
Wait until the 19th. Once the 19th hits, then you can sign new contracts.
actually wait till September. September is
Right,
going
'cause
to
you
be
have
the
those 2
best
weeks.
month. Right. So real quickly, in between eclipses, right? So when there's a new, solar, it doesn't matter anyway, solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, those are, you're being tested big time, right? It's a big test. But eclipses are also karmic, like I mentioned at the beginning of the
Right.
show.
So what do you mean by karmic? What does that mean?
It's another thing, like it brings up our past.
Ah, okay, brings up all the stuff we need to deal with. That's
Yeah,
karmic. Okay.
exactly. It's on a
Old
personal level,
Yep.
right? It's on a personal level, and it's also the outside as well.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that happened maybe a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever, right? Again, it also depends on your natal chart as well.
Right. Okay.
Because it might not do anything, that one eclipse for you.
Right. You might just
So-
sail through it. Those
Yes.
are nice eclipses.
Yeah, so that's
We
what.
welcome those.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what's happening. We're being tested right now, and so that solar eclipse that's happening in Leo is it's actually really good because a part of that test is to do ourselves. So we have to make the changes. We have to work on ourselves.
It's funny you're saying this because I have a few friends who are Leos and a few colleagues who are Leos, and that's exactly what they're going through right now. I know one woman who's going through shamanic medicines and medicine ceremonies because she needs to find herself. I have another one who wants to start a new career and he's thinking about what direction he wants to go in, and that's really coming full force for him in
Yeah.
Crossroads right now.
Yeah.
But these are all Leo things. One is about a relationship, so I get that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see that. I can see
Yeah,
it.
and eclipses will they will bring up they will bring stuff up.
They'll bring up
They will bring up stuff forcefully.
Yes.
Right. And they open up like they open things up. And it's like an awareness. So when I say forcefully, I don't want people to get scared about that. What I mean is like, it'll just bring that awareness to
Yeah.
like
It'll become
it'll be just like
you'll wake up in the
spotlights.
morning. This is what's going to
Yeah.
happen. You'll wake up in
It's
the
true.
morning and you'll go to yourself, you know what is it that I need to deal with? Because there's something happening here.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we come back on our last segment or our next segment of our show on Messages with an Angel.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
Now, it's fun to have, and we're coming back again, we're live again. It's fun to have someone like Maria as a very close friend. And we were talking earlier, you know, how do you find somebody who is really good at what they do, whether it's astrologer, a legitimate astrologer, what have you, asking your friends, asking around to get references. References are really, really important. If you go on my Facebook page, you will see our past astrologers, you will see past psychics that we've worked with. These people are people that I trust, that I know, that other people have worked with if I haven't worked with them. But that's the thing too. And again, it's all about your comfort level too. So my reality is if you're comfortable with someone, fantastic. If you're not comfortable with them, then it's time for you to find somebody else. That's always my reasoning.
Definitely.
Right? And how you find those people who work for you, really, it's about how do they resonate. Yes? You know, it's just the way it is. Now, we're talking about the solar eclipse that's coming up. We're talking about the Mercury retrograde that's coming up and how that's going to affect us in this month. Now, you want to talk a little bit about and touch on a little bit about September and how that's going to work for us.
Well, yeah, because as like I mentioned before, the second half of August is going to start easing up a bit, and then once we reach August the 26th is the full moon in Pisces. It's going to be a lot more of a relaxed, calmer flow, a lighter energy, and I think that is actually really good because it, you know, if we look at everybody, you know, that's when the kids are, you know, you got to get the kids ready back for school, you know, for parents, and then it's people coming back from vacation, so they need to get themselves again ready for going back to work. But September is actually a much better month for initiating things, for doing things, for purchasing, for buying a home, for and buying a car, because by then Mercury will have picked up its speed and it's ready to go.
Okay, so now we've talked about how we're going to move through, or what's going to happen once we move through it. Do you have any tips for us about what we can do while all of this is happening this month? What can we do for ourselves? What can we do energetically to move through this? So I've gone on the internet, I've said, okay, this is what's coming, this is what's coming, this is what's coming. But how do I navigate that? You know, give us some tips, maybe if you have any. If not, that's okay. No. But if you have any tips, what can we do for ourselves to help navigate through this time?
Well, one is, again, looking things up, trying to get as much information as you can to find out how it's going to affect you individually. And, you know, again, about the prep, right? Preparing yourself, so guiding and supporting yourself. But really what it's all about is you just have to take a step back. Don't allow these things to scare you, because it's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to benefit you at all.
You know,
actually allow yourself to go through what it is that you're going through, because that is your growing process. And one quick thing that I want to touch up on about, and I hope you do bring me back, because it would be really interesting. It'll be real interesting.
Even a question?
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because this now is a time that we are having to prepare ourselves for the coming in and going into the new year of 2019. You think this year was intense or things were going on now. Next year is going to be a lot more.
There is, but you know what I'm feeling about next year? I feel like there's a lot more stuff happening, but I feel like because we're grounding ourselves in ourselves, there's a really nice, expansive opening up. It's more of an active year.
Exactly, and that's
this is a highly intensely emotional year. I feel like this next year is more of a physical year. It's an action year.
Exactly, and that's why now, right, the cosmos, right, or you know,
get your emotions in line.
The cosmos are actually preparing us.
Yeah,
they're saying, hey, wake up, you've got to prepare yourself. And this is where we have to do the work, right?
Yeah.
Again, like I was mentioning, there is a huge emphasis on doing that energy work on ourselves.
And that comes back to, I think, the mandate of this particular show, which is honor yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Honor yourself,
Definitely.
honor yourself. The more you honor yourself, you feel like crying. You
Yeah.
feel like taking a
Yeah.
day and just going, you know what, I need a mental health day. Seriously, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, it
You
is.
know, if you want, and it's a month, right? Like, it's amazing how many people are actually being given that opportunity to take that downtime.
Yes.
And a lot of them are taking it, but a lot of them are fighting it. Oh, I should go to work. I should go to work. You know what?
Yeah, there's a
You're-
reason.
You're healing, or you're feeling sick, or you're just feeling like
Yeah.
you need to take that. Your jaw, and I actually physically watch this. The boss turns around and goes, oh, you know what? You want to take the afternoon off? Go for it. And some people turn around and go, I'm going to get fired if I take that afternoon. The world is
Yes.
not going to fall apart.
Yes.
Your boss is offering this to go, people, go. So
And-
honoring yourself, I think is really,
Yeah.
for me, a basic, regardless of what your zodiac sign is, regardless of what is happening, honoring yourself is
Yeah.
really what's going to help you through it.
Exactly. And so doing the work on yourself and honoring yourself, it's also, you are having to work through those fears. It is also a time
Yes.
of dealing with a lot of fears.
I'm so glad you brought that, because we did talk about that before the show
Yeah.
started happening, and I was hoping we were going to touch on
Yeah.
it, because again, that's something else we talk about on this show. What is the definition of fearlessness?
Yeah.
If you guys can tell me and remember what the definition of fearlessness is, I will give you a 10-minute free read. But I've got to hear that under my comments. I want to see that on my comments in the next 10 minutes. I'm going to talk about it. No, we have 4 minutes, so you can't do it in 10. So in the next minute, I want somebody to comment, what is fearlessness? What is the definition of energetic fearlessness? 1 minute, people, and go. All right, so we're talking about fearlessness and being not afraid.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for you? Or what were you going to come and say with us at that time?
Oh, it just that on top of the fact that this is a time where we have to do the work on ourselves, right? But it's also we have to work on those fears that we have.
Yeah.
We can't allow them to control our lives.
Yes.
We've got to start controlling. We have to start controlling our lives. Don't allow these emotions, or don't allow outside influences to control you.
Yeah.
Because that's when you start to shut down. That is not when you're growing, and that is when the energy of the planets or astrology doesn't work for you.
Yes. But
So-
that's again honoring yourself. It
Yeah.
always comes back to, because when we start to honor ourselves,
Yeah.
we start to set gentle boundaries.
Yeah.
We start to turn around and say, you know what, this feels right.
Yeah.
This feels good for me. So if this feels good or this does not feel good, this is how I'm going to respond
Yeah.
in like kind. Okay, so our minute is up. So here we go. The definition of fearlessness is to know that there may be something to be afraid of or to hesitate with,
Yeah.
but to move through it anyway and do it. As long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, just do it. The reality is yes, you know what? It is a fearful thing to learn how to ride a bike because I might fall, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Sure.
It might be a scary thing to come on a television show for the first time, but the reality is that we move through these things and become better for it. And how do we move through fear to become fearless? Honor yourself. Does this feel right? Does this feel like, yes, this is what I want to do right now? If it is your truth, if it comes back to how I live that feel lifestyle, then do it. And this, you're going to honor yourself. People won't be able to control you. You won't be putting yourself in a controlling situation. This is how I believe, for me, as we're talking and I'm kind of moving through it, how we navigate through all of these different phases, whether it's a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse or a Mercury retrograde or a Mars retrograde or any of the,
Yeah.
a Plutonian retrograde. So now Pluto will retrograde at some point, and Jupiter will retrograde, and Saturn. All of these planets will retrograde, yes?
Pluto is already retrograde.
Really? See, when I think Pluto, I think Mickey Mouse still. That's just me. I'm really weird that way. Like, I am. I don't know what's wrong.
And it's funny you say that, because even when as a little girl, when I first started, recognizing the names of the planets, Pluto. That's what I thought of.
I remember.
It's funny you mentioned that,
Oh my
because
God.
I thought that too.
I remember when I was a little girl. Oh my God, I can't believe this triggered a memory.
Yeah.
When I was a little girl, you remember how you used to do those like plasticine astronomy things where you have the Earth in the middle or the Moon in the middle, and you put all the planets. Yeah. Okay. So what I did was I was thinking I was a smart girl, right? And my mom bought me a little statue of Pluto. That's what she did. Yeah. And like Pluto, the dog from Mickey Mouse. And I put it was a decoration, like a Christmas ornament.
Oh, yeah.
And she put it on Pluto. We put it on Pluto where the planet was supposed to be. My teacher took one look at that. She laughed. I kid you not. She went like, she was, change it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, come on, don't you people have a sense of humor? She's like, that's going into the science fair.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, people have a sense of, okay, I'm moving. Okay, go.
Aww,
you know, I felt like I was being put in the corner. But to me, when I think Pluto, that's what I think of. Right?
Yeah.
But it's funny. And then when I think of Neptune, I think of the god Poseidon and the god Neptune. So that's the other thing too. When I think of these things, I correlate mythologies. And this is how I remember them, hey? Like this is how so if you have a child at home, and going to go back to that, if you have a kid at home, one of the best ways to do that is to go through the books. Why do they call it Saturn? Why do they call it Jupiter? Why do they call it Mars? And you're going to find a whole nother aspect is going to open up. All of a sudden you're reading about mythology. All of a sudden you're learning about the gods and the goddesses. Like this is an amazing way to teach your children and to help them be well-rounded. Even if they never go into astrology, it's still something I think that'd be fun for them to do with their families. Thank you so much, Maria, for being here. I have had a fantastic time. I have learned so much on this show today, and I think you're going to help a lot of people really be guided through this particular month and through these different things. And I think we've helped a lot of people understand that, you know what, it's not a scary thing.
No,
you can go and you can check it out and you can start to touch and play with those universal energies. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to know more about us, if you weren't able to catch our live show, please go to YouTube, Facebook, Periscope. You can catch it a little bit later. Please continue to comment. You're more than welcome to do that at any time. Share us, like us, and we'll see you next week on Messages with an Angel. But stay tuned for our closing after these messages.
You have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this show today. We had a fantastic time learning about astrology and how you can become an astrologer. If you want to know more about us, please feel free to go to raisingenergy.com, mytcntv.com. You can go to Facebook, mytcntv, Raising Energy. You can find us everywhere. So join us next week on Messages with an Angel, and we'll see you next time.